Alright, we're here to give our overall thoughts on the house on Sorority Row 1983. Before we get into spoilers, this was filmed like a lot of the other early 80s slashers.
Yeah, low budget.
With suspenseful and shot with killer POV, low budget.
Classic whodunit.
So it is pretty suspenseful. It's a notch above Prom Night in our opinion.
And Prom Night sucks, so you know how this movie's gonna be.
It's pretty, so yeah, that's not saying much, but it's pretty decent, watchable. So, let's jump right into this, our overall thoughts.
So it starts off with the old...
We gotta say also the death scenes, they like...
cut them real quick, but...
They don't go, like, they won't jam like the whole thing, like in there, they won't jam with the blade and like follow through on the kill.
Kind of trying to cut the scene. While it's still trying to make the kill look real, you know. But anyway, so it starts off with the Sorority Row house mother. And she's like having a baby, and it's 1961 in June. But the baby, the doctor, like, you know, it's like a
miscarriage, whatnot. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Something's wrong with the baby.
At that point.
She lost the baby, or we don't know. So then it cuts to
so we get introduced to the cast and whatnot, where
we meet all the freaking Sorority Row bitches, like,
who aren't even that hot.
Not hot at all. They're just totally 80s script chicks, low budget chicks. So then it cuts from there.
They have a scene where they introduce the gun, just to introduce the gun, where this guy's out with his girlfriend.
To, like,
His girlfriend's shooting the gun, and he decides to like kiss her while she's shooting the gun.
They go up top the barn, and you're like, okay, and you don't even know what the hell's going on. Then it cuts from there to the sorority party.
Anyway,
and they're
the house
sitting down,
mother,
kumbaya, having the freaking party. But it's just a party to, like, before they get ready to have the actual party.
Yeah, they graduated, and they're just hanging out still in the sorority house.
Crazy sorority lady
who's a total bitch. She wants them out, so obviously they hate her after spending 4 years with her.
So then it cuts to the next morning, and they're like, hey,
screw with her.
And they're like, hey, we should get back at her, you know, put glue on her toilet seat or something. And they're like, yeah. And like Muffy.
Her character description is a huge bitch / buzzkill.
The one chick is like, you know,
Katie, the main bitch.
Yeah, she's like, no, I think we should do that.
They have the lead bitch. They have the lead bitch
for the opposition to not do anything.
Then all the other girls are innocent with like they have like no defined character. There's just the bitch and then there's the good girl.
They're all just retarded.
So anyway,
that's what you give me.
They pull the prank and they do like 70s effect.
No, so it goes the next morning and yeah, and they put the hurricane out on the freaking in the back.
Also, we gotta mention they play like a whack Amityville horror theme where it's like
it's terrible.
This isn't it, but there's another one where it's
so they put her cane on.
It's like exactly a knockoff of Amityville.
They put her cane on an inner tube. She goes out there and they're like, yeah, bitch, go get it, go swim, because we haven't put up with your shit. And then she turns around. And the Sorority Row chick's got a gun that you know is justified from the scene earlier. You know that's where she got the gun from, is for her boyfriend. So then you're like, oh wow.
So they pull the prank on her.
So they shoot blanks, but you can't really tell.
One of them ended up being a bullet, like Brandon Lee in The Crow or whatever.
So the sorority mom gets killed. They're like, oh, what should you do? We're stupid sorority bitches, so let's just put her in the pool, even though she'll float.
You know, it's broad daylight
and then the band pulls up.
We have a whole band coming over and everyone
like as they're putting the body in they're like, grab some towels, cover her body with towels and put her in the tub. Put her in the pool in the back.
And they're like, alright, now let's party like it's 1979. And they whip out a disco ball.
Yeah, it just cuts right from there to the party and it's like, don't let go. Well,
they keep on going in and out of that. And then when they do the scenes where they're away, you could tell it's a totally different day, or else you'd be able to hear the band in the background. They don't like edit that into the film.
Hold up, I forgot to mention before she gets killed though, she's upstairs, you know, like she's psychotic, she's slowly losing her mind. The sorority mom, and she's rocking in the rocking chair up in the attic, just like Black Christmas.
And she's like ripping the pictures of old sorority bitches.
Because she's psychotic, she's going psychotic.
Yeah, the doctor's like, she's totally turned psychotic. So anyway, at the party, an unknown killer, they wrap her up in like the coat or whatever and throw her into the pool.
No,
and then
so
an unknown killer with the woman's cane.
No, a drunk comes out there. Drunk is the first victim, like a Liebeck, which is like one of our friends, who's like a total drunk. So now he walks out. You know, everybody has those friends.
And he gets stabbed by the cane. That's actually one
So
of
then
the
you're
good,
like-
right in the throat. That's actually one of the good
So
Tom
then you're
Savini
like-
style deaths.
So then you're like, oh, she's still alive. Because, you know, it's the cane that, you know, she used to walk with. So you're like, okay.
You're like, that would be too simple.
It's
you
a
know
pretty
she's
tight.
just a red
This
herring.
is like the only tight death. Is the first one. No, I'm not saying it's the only tight death, but I'm saying it's the first one that they actually show blood and everything. And the first next three are like cut away quick, so you can't.
So anyway, Katie at the party, she's with Peter. She's like, oh, I hooked you up with a date. Another red herring. She's like, and he's just like, she's like, oh no, I don't want to drink. I just want to be in a sober guilt trip.
And then they hear her scream, and like, yeah, everybody runs out from the party to the back, and they're like, it's like two boys like trying to throw like, you know, one for the money, two for the show. Like they're gonna throw a chick in the pool, and all of them come out like, oh no, like, 'cause they think they're gonna see the body.
There's three guys in their whitey tighties going out in the pool that's like been dirty.
It's not till next, you fag. I'm talking about when they do the freaking piggyback, or when they're about to throw the chicken, and then that's when they first realize that the body's not there, and they go back into the party. And they're like, okay.
And anyway, they do a filler scene where one of the girls goes down to the breaker room, and it's like and it's like all in the shadows, and they kill her with the cane. They cut away from that death also, from what I remember.
So she gets killed because she was gonna turn on the pool light to find out what was going on, to see if they could find the body in the pool. So then freaking that, and then it goes to like later on in the night, and it's like three guys, like just them, like in their whitey tighties, go out to the pool, and you're like, okay, what the hell? Because it's like, yeah, it's gonna happen as it's like a sorority row, like, you know, all girls party, and just a little bit of guys.
Yeah,
and these three guys are in
that.
their whitey tighties
Let me
going out
repeat
to
that.
the pool.
Three guys at a sorority party going to the disgusting ass pool by themselves.
Yeah, it's like a dirty ass non-clean pool for like the past like year or two, and they're like, yeah, jump in, man.
So anyway, they're like, where is the body? And then one of the girls like opens the attic.
But this is where it cuts away to them in the kitchen, and it's like the party's over. Like you don't hear any music or anything, even though rock's going on the whole time.
In the next
But freaking
room.
yeah, this is why this movie's so kind of weird, because the way they show everything, it's like, okay,
you can tell it's a totally different day.
Yeah, you can tell it's a totally different scene, and freaking
whatever.
they don't match everything up correctly.
It's not that big of a deal, but
it's just you lose the feel. What the hell's going on?
When they edit the death scenes wrong, that's when we get pissed. That's the things that piss us off.
Yeah, he gets pissed.
So then one girl she finds the body of Mrs. Slater all wrapped up, what they believe to be Mrs. Slater wrapped up in the attic, and they're like,
it falls down.
oh, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, but who put the body up there? And they don't know, and then everybody's flipping out, and they don't know about the other chicks that are dead yet.
Oh, and they keep on going all the way up in the attic, and Peter's all the way upstairs, where like with the jester and everything. I love that jester.
Oh yeah, it's real tight. It's like the Jack in the Box jester. And then freaking they're like, oh yeah, pack her clothes to make it look like she left town. It's like such a script.
Anyway.
Yeah, you can tell they're gonna get caught for murder.
That's when they do try to dispose the body in the trash, and they're like, "Oh, we haven't hired a minority character, obviously."
Yeah,
they made
so
the
then
cop
they go
black.
out there, and a black cop crashes in because they're like pushing the body in a dumpster that has wheels, and they're pushing it on the road, and you're like, "Okay, what the hell?" And the cop crashes into it, and then he gets out, and he's like, 27-9. He's just like, "We got a fender bender."
Then they do the girl in the shower, where like the camera zooms
And you're like,
in,
"What the hell?"
and they cut off the scene like too soon.
Which part are you talking about?
The girl in the shower. And then this is what they
yeah,
later
yes.
show. They don't show the death. Instead, they just show the prop head later, which is pretty dope. That's like the most gore that you see in the whole freaking movie.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
No, it's like the director didn't know how to like do death scenes correctly, so he would like cut them short because they would end up like
He
cheap.
didn't know how to mix the scenes together.
They didn't have a
Where it
false.
felt like it's all the same time frame. When he cuts it, it just seems like it's all different.
Yeah.
Like you can tell.
You know
okay,
what
what the
I'm saying.
hell?
You know what I'm saying, Myers fan.
I get it.
Check out the Myers fan. I'm not gonna diss him in this one. He's one of our favorite
I'll
YouTubers.
diss
Go and
him.
check
Myers
him out.
fan, you suck.
So anyway,
So freaking the cop gives him a ticket, and he's like, "What are you guys doing? You guys always move trash at 1 a.m.?"
and
They're
then
like,
Katie,
"Yeah, we're
Katie
sorority
finds
stupid
like the
bitches."
doctor's like, or Mrs. Slater's like Dr. Chain or whatever. And he ends up calling the doctor, and the
Yeah, because
doctor.
she had like a dog tag to like notify people when she's dead.
She like
or had a stroke.
It's
To
like
call
a
call
diabetes
1-800 number.
chain.
So to call the same doctor that, you know, miscarried her baby or whatever happened with her baby in the beginning, you know, we don't really know until the end. So then freaking the chick that has her conscious, you know, on her the whole time, like, we should call the cops. She finally calls that number to call the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, stay there, I'm on my way.
The doctor explains that Mrs. Slater's desire to have a kid her whole life, like wow, God programmed Mrs. Slater to just think about, oh, life's all about having kids.
No. It wasn't God, it was the screenwriter of this shitty budget film.
Yeah, well, God has created a lot of bitches that are like that anyway.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, the two girls end up going to this cemetery. They're like, let's just take her straight
this
to...
is so retired. They go to the cemetery,
source.
and they're like, yeah, let's get rid of the body. They go to the cemetery, and they see a wake. They see a body. Or
The girls just keep on getting
green.
uglier throughout the whole video, the whole movie.
Yeah, they do get uglier. No, so they go to the cemetery.
Like, they started out ugly, and they got
they
uglier, then they got the ugliest.
They see a grave that's already halfway dug, and they're like, yeah, let's finish digging it. Let's throw in here. And you're like, okay, yeah,
then
they're not going to find the body.
They slit one of the girls' throats, which they cut away from, of course. And then it's the axe death to Vicky's
And the whole
back,
time
the
you're
bitch.
thinking, okay, is it her? She's still alive? And you're like, no, she's not, because she's right there dead.
They're like, oh yeah, they end up finding that one of the
and then they're at the
body
van.
that one of the sorority sisters was wrapped up in the body blanket.
No,
so it wasn't Mrs. Slater. So they think Mrs. Slater is killing them.
But also at the time, they're at the freaking graveyard, and it's also the same time as the cops talking to the chicks with or no, but it's right around there. Those scenes are back to back. But also before that is when the chick goes out to the van inside the barn and she gets killed.
And the doctor
like
ends
having a
up
cigarette.
fake calling the cops. And so anyway, they get back to the house, and the doctor ends up giving the bitch a sedative because he's trying to cover up.
Oh yeah, because he told him he called the cops, and then they're freaking driving, and then he just sticks a syringe in her, and he's like, yeah, this is a sedative.
And then this is where he tells the plot of...
This will calm me down. Then he's like...
He's trying to cover up the whole thing because he doesn't want it to get out because they were doing...
lose his license. Because he was trying to create life and give her a baby.
And we all know that cannot be possible. That's the only thing that's...
So then we find out...
It's the old tale of Frankenstein. If you try to create life, it'll backfire.
So without him saying, you can already tell that, yeah, there's somebody out there. That she did have a kid, and it did grow
ended up being a mutant, like the freaking...
Toxic Avengers.
No, like the inbred in the basement for like Harold...
radiation.
Or like the inbred from like Sloth, or like the Goonies, or like the one from
Harold and Kumar, White Castle.
The second one.
Sloth.
In the basement, and he's just like, dude, give me a Baby Ruth. All they had to do is have a Baby Ruth, and they probably could have stopped him.
Exactly.
This whole thing from happening.
Alright, so then freaking he
shoots her up with a tranquilizer.
Yeah, to use her as a bait. He wants to use her as bait so he can catch the freaking the mutant kid.
Because he wants to kill off all the girls for killing his mom.
Anyways.
Because he thinks one way. He's like a whack-ass Jason, basically.
He takes her to his mansion, his doctor mansion. And this part's retarded because, you know, she's in the chair. And he's like, you know, just stay here. I'm waiting for you as bait. And then the killer shows up. But then she runs away. And she goes upstairs. And then his upstairs is like freaking... it's his house. It's his mansion. And you go upstairs and it's like a freaking... It's like a freaking public bathroom. It's like 3 stalls. You know, that's where you see the bloody head in there, and she's like, what the... And she has the gun, and then freaking, it's just so terrible.
I love the head in the toilet scene. That was like the only really good gore scene in the whole movie. So anyway...
That's what all their budget went to, is this picture right here.
So everyone is dead, and she's still running around the house, up and down stairs, like...
But then, this is where the killer nails... No, because...
Let me tell you something. Get in one direction and freaking leave. She wouldn't be going up and down the stairs.
Oh, I know, it's retarded. So you get kind of the vibe that, you know...
Hold up,
that
the mutant
doctor...
ends up killing the doctor.
Yeah, well, I'm saying you get kind of the vibe that, because she's running away from the doctor, and you get kind of the vibe that the doctor's the killer.
Oh, whatchamacallit? No, we think that Peter's the killer. We thought that...
And the doctor gets stabbed with the cane, and he falls over the freaking.
The whole time I was like, it's either 3 people. It's
Sloth.
No, we didn't know that there was a creation at this point.
Actually, we did. We didn't know it was a mutant.
Yeah, we didn't know he was mutant. We thought it was Peter. We thought that she had the kid.
Yeah, we thought it was her boyfriend.
No,
not her boyfriend.
It was a blind date that she got set up with. I thought it was going to be him the whole time. It was either him, Mrs. Slater, or the doctor.
Exactly.
So anyway, where
So
do we
anyway,
leave?
the doctor gets stabbed, and you're like, okay, it's not the doctor. And you're like, is the old lady still alive?
Because the doctor was
no.
just trying to save his own ass, of course.
So then
Typical.
she's running from...
I've never met a doctor that was trying to save his own
so
ass. Have you?
Buffy, she's running from the freaking killer. She goes up into the attic, even though this is the thing that's retarded too, because it's like she's back at the sorority house. It's not even, but she's at the at the doctor's house. So it's kind of weird. I might be mistaken. But
No,
anyway,
she's
goes
up
back
in the attic.
Yeah, she goes back up in the attic
Where Sloth lives.
where Sloth lives, and she sets up the stupid Jack in the Box with that kind of
They
jester
finally
face.
reveal that.
And she sets it at the top of there, so to call the killer, and the killer goes up there. But
So anyway, it's
he
not
doesn't go
Peter.
up there because
It's
he's
not
right
Peter.
behind her. He's right behind her, right here with
He was
this
just a
mask
red
on.
herring.
Yeah, it's not. It's just.
It's
a
an
mutant.
actual mutant.
And then
But they don't show the mutant because
she
they didn't have
shoots
the
him.
props to like pull off a
She
mutant.
shoots him, and
So
it
they
wasn't-
just put him in a jester outfit.
It wasn't in the budget to have actual bullets. They had blanks, so he doesn't get shot. And she throws the gun at him, and then he freaking.
She stabs him with
She
like a
stabs.
doll
No.
head.
Oh yeah, this is so pathetic. She kills the killer by taking off a doll's head and stabbing him with like the pointy part
Killer
of the neck of the doll. And you're like, okay. And then he falls down the freaking
Don't you-
the attic.
Don't you remember your mother?
Wrong movie.
Scream 3.
Yeah, we're talking about Sorority Row. All right, so she kills
So
him with
that's
a
it.
doll, and then they don't even show the killer's face. They just show the jester's face with the little
Because he's
mask.
supposed to be a
with little bit of
mutant, and
blood.
they didn't have props for a mutant makeup.
Yeah, it wasn't
so anyway,
in the budget.
And he opens his eyes. I don't know if there's a sequel.
So
I couldn't even
thoughts.
find if there was a sequel
The
to this.
score was terrible. Like some parts, it sounded like Amityville Horror score. Like it was a shitty version of Amityville Horror. The music.
Storyline 7.5, gore 6.5.
No, 6. A flat 6. It was pathetic.
How they cut it so much, but at least there was more blood than freaking Halloween.
Definitely the remake is better. We'll be reviewing that next. But
I gotta give a shout out to Undying Sin Ed, who uploaded House and Sorority Row, so you could check out this movie on YouTube. Anyway, the character's 5 out of 10, just so plain and boring. There was only the bitch character and the kind of noble bitch who wasn't that noble.
because she was a bitch.
No, she just cared about her future. She was just like, let's just wrap it up.
No, because she was noble.
Stupid.
But noble. I know, it's like one time at freaking Taco Bell, I tried to offer the lady behind the counter $1. No. And she didn't take it, and I was like, noble. Stupid, but noble.
Wow. A Taco Bell story.
Inside Sorority Row.
Anyway,
Review.
acting
Freaking douche.
6 out of 10. You know what you're gonna get out of
We
these
already
80s.
said,
Cinematography 5 out of 10 because of the editing was shitty.
No, because of the low budget.
6.8. Ending 8 out of 10.
Okay, wow.
Like Mort Rainey says, it is all about the ending.
First
but
off,
whatever.
the ending, I would want to see the mutant's face. I wouldn't give it an 8, but go on.
I kind of like it. It was
Score, terrible.
6 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Pace 6.5.
Oh, the pace, it was like the Dark Knight where they just rushed it.
Been worse.
They just rushed
went
it
at a
and rushed
decent
it.
Pace. Anyway.
Yeah, and they couldn't cover specific things and connect it together because they were rushing
Anyway,
and
I'm
making it
JBM,
retarded.
and
And I'm
this was
L-Mid, and you're so freaking ugly.